Okay, my friends, today we are going to be talking about wheels and restoring old wheels. Basically, any old Schwinn that I get always has wheels on it that look terrible. I mean, this is a painted wheel, and it's got all sorts of crud on it from God only knows how long. And yeah, the whole bike looks like that. And it just dawned on me that, a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to have to replace the wheels on that. And that's not always the case. So we are taking the Klunker project, the current one, as you know, are taking this apart and got a whole new set of wheels for that bad boy. But anyway, this made me think that, hey, maybe I should go through and give you some insight into how I get these wheels polished up. So this is the wheel from that 1950 Red Phantom. This wheel has been, it's probably been on this thing obviously since 1950, but the other thing is that it's probably not seen any use in, 30 years. So it's got a bunch of crud on it. And somebody would say, hey, this is a wheel that just needs to be thrown away. But they're very easy in most cases to clean. I don't know what any of this unidentifiable crap is, but I just wanted to go through the steps that I use when we get these wheels off the bike to get them cleaned up. This is a whole separate situation here. That's soaking and scrubbing and all that sort of thing. That's a new departure hub that was on that bike in 1950, and it just kind of needs to be rebuilt, some TLC and that sort of thing. Spokes are not in good shape. Spokes are really, they're thin, they're bendy, and I don't know that I'd trust them if I was going to rebuild this wheel completely and get this thing back on the road. I would probably clip them all off and just re-spoke it, get this hub cleaned up, and if we weren't making that one a clunker, this is how that would go. We'd clean up the hub, clean up the rim, re-spoke it, and put it back on that bad boy. But since it's gonna find a new life as a clunker, we're gonna have other plans, I guess, for that. Okay, so how are we going to do this? We are going to take some SOS pads. These are available in any hardware store, Walmart probably, online I'm sure. And this SOS pad, if you're not familiar with them, is a soap-filled steel wool, like a 4/0 pad. And we're going to get this wet. Going to rub it on the frame, so to speak, of the sidewalls, and just the meat and potatoes here of that rim. And you're going to see how quick this thing actually comes back to life. I think you'll be quite surprised. The first one I did, man, I was just really, really surprised, because this does not look like this is going to come off in any time soon. So, without further ado, okay, so here we go. We got this wheel in the utility sink here, and we're going to turn on some hot water, and we're just going to get this thing kind of wet at the bottom there, and we're going to get this thing wet as well, and just start scrubbing basically. So as you can see from that area right down here, that this thing is just pretty roached out. So here we go, and this is not going to happen overnight. This is definitely going to take some time. We're going to see, we can kind of see here already how the sidewall is cleaning up, I should say. And I'm going to hit this with a little water so you can see exactly just how well that thing has come out. So it was just very little scrubbing, and this is what we got. Now, is that super clean? No. Is it pretty good for the 5 to 10 seconds of effort that I put into it? Yeah. You know, we're also going to find out if this is rusted over on top or not. So anyway, I'll do a little bit more with this thing. Same place. And it doesn't seem to worry if the water is really super hot or not. But hoping that you can see this. Trying to protect the sink a little bit. So as you can tell, it's going to take a while to get this thing done. And there's two of them. The sidewalls do usually clean up easier and faster than the rest of it does. I've been told several times, and there's different methods of doing this. I've been told several times that it's basically good to let it soak in a rust dissolver, something like that. Right there, you can tell how much we've gotten going on this thing so far with just a little, just a little. And then that's what, 1950 to 2023. See, we're making some headway there. So this is probably why people use these as a winter project, because it's going to take you all winter to get that wheel cleaned up. But as you can see here, this is in real time, I guess, depending on how my editing goes. But we are basically across the wheel right there. And probably when you started this video, you thought, hey, that guy's not going to get that thing cleaned up. But here we are. Going right across that. Going to get more and more hot water going here. Try not to burn my hand off. But there you have it. So, I know it seems kind of weird because there's 36 spokes and that was just in one of them. But that's been about, 5 minutes since we started, I think. And we are to clean wheel. Show you this here. Okay, that's pretty good. We got some stuff on the side there, of course, and then we've got that on the other side. Flip it over here. Haven't done anything on this part, and you can tell just exactly where we're at on that. Okay, so once again, right in this area, this is a tubular rim from 1950, and You can tell as we were talking there, these things are just roached out. This is a back wheel. It's been sitting in a barn, you know, for however long. Oh, and by the way, you're going to go through tons of these little SOS pads. I mean, buy them when they're on sale. Buy them in the big box, whatever the case may be. But this is a slow and tedious process. I'm going to spare you all the details of the every spoke, but I just want to get this video out so people could see that if you find an old bike and you want to work on it and you're worried about, oh, I'm going to have to go to this extra work to get the wheels replaced, that is not always the case, my friend. Just get in there and get that cleaned up, and it, just like anything, once you kind of get it going, it seems like it does a lot better. But you know, although it looks like rust, it's probably just years of God only knows what kind of animals running around, dust, things from the hayloft, you know, all the things. And yeah, that's what it's gonna look like. Oh, and there's 2 wheels, and yeah, it's 36 spokes to a wheel, so it's gonna take a while. But again, like I said with the winter project, that is the way to do it. Also, I should say that this doesn't really work well on paint. I've used it in some cases on paint, but most of the time that is not the case. But you know, there you have it. Here's that nice clean area we just did, and there's plenty more where that came from. All right, I'm going to wrap it up for here, and then hopefully this will get you inspired to go out. Okay, my friends, so there you have it. Got the old wheel back there, and yeah, it's going to take a while. I mean, you've got literally 36 spokes to go around. It's a 26-inch rim. Every one of them that I've done is different. Some of them take longer than others. I haven't noticed that there's any difference in trying to soak it or using super hot water with the SOS pads, but I know it just doesn't really scratch the surface of that old chrome that's been on these rims forever. And I've also noticed that after I get 90% of the stuff off, I'll go over with some chrome polish, and man, these things look like they came right out of the factory. So I mean, it takes you a while, but it's definitely well worth it. And you know, you can just do it while you're watching YouTube videos, and it'll be very therapeutic. Okay, friends, I wanted to clarify something I said earlier in the video about this wheel. This wheel is just for the demo purpose of showing you how easily or how difficult that rust is going to come off of that old Schwinn chrome. There's no plan for this wheel for any project going on right now, so I keep the wheels together. So the hub and all those spokes, no matter what the crustiness of it is, they're all ready to go. So if it sits in the storage shed for another year, 4 months, whatever, everything's right there. When I start taking the rims off of the hubs and clipping all the spokes, you know, things get lost. So one of the things that I was going to tell you was I clipped the spokes with just a little snipper like this, and then they all pop out. And basically then when I'm doing the SOS pad, I'm able to go back and forth in a longer motion, which cleans up those areas around the spoke. Just for demo purposes, I wanted to get kind of an idea out there of how long that takes, and I also wanted to, you know, not have to take the wheel apart. So if you're wondering, hey, why didn't that guy actually take that stuff off? Well, there you have it. More for the demo than for anything else. So once again, if I'm gonna take the wheel off, re-spoke it, all that sort of thing, clipping all the spokes off with one of these things, and then cleaning the hub up, taking the hub apart, cleaning all that sort of thing, cleaning the rim, and then putting the whole thing back together with brand new spokes for the whatever project we got going on with it. I have seen the rust remover stuff used, and people put it in like a small tub, like maybe a drywall mud tub, and then set the wheel in there, let it soak for, you know, several days, several hours, and it does loosen up the rust. However, you still wind up having to go to some alternative method, whether it be steel wool, scrubby pads, you know, something to get that thing cleaned up. After the fact, then we go through with some chrome polish up the wheels, use various different types of things. I don't have a wheel polisher. I do have a couple things that fit on the drill to go through and get those things a nice polish. And as I said before, you know, I don't want it to get those things to like a factory showroom condition for the stuff that I do. I want to ride these things, and I do. And you've seen some of them pop up in the other videos that we've done. And they're no fun if you don't ride them, but they're sure pretty to look at and all that sort of thing. But ultimately, they're bikes, and bikes are fun to ride. So that's why I stick with that method. I'd much rather do kind of the low and slow, so to speak, method of getting the rust off the wheels and getting them into newer condition. Newer condition meaning the, you know, they don't look like they've been in a barn for 50 years. I mean, you got to consider that, you know, this thing was built in 1950. It's 2023 now. So that's 70 plus years that this bike has been building its story, so to speak. I'm just the next caretaker of this bike until it goes on down the road and it's in somebody else's YouTube video. Considering for the most part you can buy parts for these bikes, whatever the ages are, off of eBay, or there's some Schwinn swap groups and things like that. They're actually swap meets that you can go to for old bikes. And so if you do find a bike that's missing a part, and you think, hey, I'd like to restore this, but this doesn't have a front wheel, or, you know, the pedals are missing, or the crank's missing, or whatever the case is, just a little sleuthing on the internet and you can find exactly what you're looking for. I do purchase quite a few things from eBay. I like to get them period correct for the bike. We're not doing, you know, too many of the resto mods, but we are doing quite a few that we're just, you know, tuning up and getting back on the road. And yeah, they're a blast to ride. They ride really well, considering a new bike is worth, you know, thousands of dollars now. And these things, when they originally sold back in the day, were probably a $50 or $75 item, and which was quite a bit of money in that time. But they've sure lasted the test of time, and it's hard to believe that I will put a Brooks saddle on a bike that originally cost $75, which is half the price of the saddle. But hey, you know, it's fun, and it makes it a lot easier to ride than all those S seats. They hurt in places we can't talk about. Also keep in mind that you know, every wheel is not a Schwinn wheel. Most of the Schwinn wheels have a knurled area on the center part, and they are stamped with Schwinn tubular or S7, Schwinn S7, something like that. If they're not one of those, they're probably not an original Schwinn rim. I have gotten some bikes that, you know, they have a Schwinn hub, but they do not have a Schwinn rim, so they've been redone. Some of the S7 Schwinn bikes have had basically people that couldn't find wheel, or for instance on the S7s, a lot of people just want to swap it out so they don't have to use a Schwinn proprietary size tire on it, but they want to keep that original Schwinn hub look. So I've done that on a couple bikes too, just so I can go with the 26-inch tires and have more options on it. And I had a earlier project this year where we basically took a red band hub out of an old rim that wasn't in good shape and bought a brand new rim for it that I could put regular 26-inch tires on it, and I also had it powder coated red. So I'll try and put a picture in there of that wheel on that bike somewhere in the video here, maybe there, who knows. Anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of options for your wheels on that Klunker project. Just bought new wheels and didn't want to redo these. New wheels can be expensive, and also new wheels can also be very, very cheap. But if you see a lot of guys out there on the interwebs, on the YouTubes, that are redoing bikes, they usually got a pile of wheels and a pile of tires and things like that, and you can easily find those, or just keep them. Go out to that garage sale and buy the $30 bike, and then keep the parts you need, and, you know, toss the rest. Anyway, didn't want to get too much off topic about the wheel cleaning. Just wanted to give you a few options. The painted wheels are a different option to clean. I don't usually use the SOS pads. If I do, I use the ones that are really worn down, and those I usually will try and soak in some sort of cocktail of Dawn dishwashing soap, simple green, and a little water, and just see what I can get loosened up without damaging the wheels themselves or the pinstriping on the wheels. Wheel cleaning is just kind of its own little experimental art. There's things that I like to do. There's all sorts of methods. If you search on the interwebs, you'll find people that want to use aluminum foil with some sprayed water on it. Some people that will try and clean them off with some WD-40 and other pads, the aforementioned rust remover, and some pretty harsh chemicals too. So, but this is just what works for me, and it does take a bit longer, but I don't really mind it because, again, you know, somewhat therapeutic to get one of these old bikes out and get it back on the road. And if you do like this content, as usual, please like and subscribe. Helps out the channel, doesn't cost you anything, and of course, it gets me closer to one of those plaques that I don't really ever think I'm going to get. But it would be fun. I got a spot on the wall for it. Okay, so let's say you don't know how to respoke a wheel, and that was the case when I did my first one. Had no clue. And basically I went to our local bike collective after watching a couple videos, made sure I had the right size of spokes, and had some supervision, and it took me a day to do 2 of them. Super slow doing it. The 36 spoke wheel has a lot of videos here on YouTube on how to respoke those things, and they're very good. A lot of people are very good at it, and it is an art. But do you have the patience for it? No, I didn't. And so the last few that I've had done, I've just had the guys at the local bike shop do it for several different reasons. One is to maintain the little few threads of sanity that I still have, and then again was spring on the local economy. But Yeah, no, it's a lot faster too. You drop it off, a couple days later you pick it up and you're out riding, and I haven't had to expand my vocabulary any or reconsider life choices. Until next time, get out there and take care of your dash. We'll see you on the trail.